show you how to make this lovely lantern, crocheted lantern jar holder. It's a lovely time of year now. Weather's nice, people are taken to their gardens, and these look gorgeous, hanging from trees, fences, baskets, under parasols, and you can put a real tea light in as long as the edges aren't overlapping. Put a real tea light in, or you can put a votive candle in, or you can even fill them with wax and a wick, or you can use battery operated lights, or you can use little fairy lights with battery in, and they just look beautiful. They really shimmer lovely through the pattern of the crochet. There's lots of different designs you can do. I'm just looking across there, I've got dozens of them over there, but this one is my favourite. It looks really cute. This one's done in craft cotton, so it's a little bit bigger than what I'm going to use, which is this Drops recycled cotton, which is a little bit of a thinner gauge. So I'm going to use a 3.5mm hook for this. I used a 4 for this one. Okay, so let's get started. Some of the ones you'll see actually are just a one piece and they just wrap it round and sew it together. This one is different. It actually has a bottom, because obviously if you're going to hang it from a tree or something, it needs to be able to support itself. So how we start this one is with a magic ring. So magic ring, let me just zoom in a bit so you can see. Magic ring, lay the yarn across our fingers, wrap it around just as we do for a normal slip knot. Put it underneath the first one, pull through the second, and then grab some more of that second yarn and pull it through the loop on the hook. And there we have a magic ring. Okay. Now I like to pull mine quite small, because I think the bigger it is, the harder it is to control. So I'll put my yarn out of the way. Right, now I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. Oops, zoom out a little bit more. I'm going to chain 3, 2, 3, and then I'm going to put 11 double crochets in US terms, triples in US terms, into the ring. So that's yarn over. This first one's going to act as my first double crochet. This is my standing chain. So I'm going to end up with sort of effectively 12 at the end. So yarn over, ring, hook into the ring, grab some yarn and pull it through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Next one, yarn over, into the ring, pull some yarn through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. First chain 3 that we had, which is here, and we're going to slip stitch the top. So 1, 2, this is the top, pop a hook in, pull some yarn through and pull it through, and there we go. That's the beginning. So for the next round we're going to double up, so we're going to chain 3. And then what we're going to do is into that same stitch, so that's, I'll just zoom in so you can see where the stitch is. That's into here, this stitch here, that's where we are. That same stitch, you want to do a double crochet, treble in UK terms. There you go. And then you want to move on to the next stitch and do 2 doubles in there. One, 2, and then a second one, pull through 2, pull through 2. Sorry, yarn balls coming across the table, 2 in the next one, and you'll find that as you go, they do start to open up a little bit, your stitches. They're not as tricky to get into. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. So now we find the top of that 3, 1, 2, 3, and we join with a slip stitch. Now we've got the beginning of this base here. Okay, so you can see we've got another row now of double crochet to go in. And this time we're going to increase it more slowly, okay? So we're going to chain 3, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and we're going to put 2 into the next. Okay. One and then 2, and then 1 to the next, 2 into the next, 1 into the next. Need to put another single in there. Okay, and end on the single and put a slip stitch into the top of that chain. And now you can see our base is more or less ready, because that will obviously stretch. So see, so we're going to start doing the pattern to go up the sides now. So our pattern is chain 1, pop a single crochet into that space, into the same space, so you go into the same stitch. Sorry, that wasn't very explanatory, was it? Right, so for the next round we're going to pop a single crochet into the same stitch we're in at the moment. So just pop your hook in, pull through some yarn over and pull through for a single crochet. Now we're going to miss 2, so 1, 2, and then what we're going to do to make these shell shapes is we're going to double crochet, so yarn over, miss 2 spaces, or into this is miss 2 stitches, that's that stitch, we're into this stitch, yarn over, pop the hook in, and do 3 single crochet, 3 double crochet in US terms, that's a treble in UK terms. if you do get into a bit of a mess, just pull it down and start again. 2, 3, and then chain 1 and put in another 3. 1, 2, all in that one space. 3. Okay, then we're making these sort of spaces in between now. So what we do is we come into the next, we skip 2 stitches, skip that, and then we come into there and we do a single crochet. Okay, and then we repeat again, skip 2 stitches, skip 2 stitches and do our shell again. So we put in 3 double crochet, or triple in the UK, chain 1 and then put 3 more in the same stitch. 2, 3. Then we skip a stitch, skip another stitch and put a single crochet into the space. Skip a stitch, skip another stitch and do our shell again. This is the 2 spaces that you're going to miss, and then that's already there for you, that single crochet, so you just slip stitch into the top of it. Okay, so now you've got, it'll be slightly folding over now, slightly sort of bowing, which is what you want it to do, because you want it to turn up so that your jar fits in there. Okay. Now if you're not sure your jar's going to fit, it will fit, but if you think it might not, then you can either use a smaller jar or you can add in another row after this one before you start doing your shells. But it will fit. A standard jam jar will definitely fit this pattern, but it'll curl up the sides, okay, so don't worry about that. So now it gets very simple, because all we're going to do is carry on repeating what we're doing so far. But we're going to do it into the top. You know where we did our chain 1 space between the 2 sets of 3? That's where we're going to put our next, if you look, that's where we're going to put our next shell. They go into the top of the previous shell, with some chain spaces between. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip stitch to the top of this chain 3. So I'm just going to put my hook in, go through, go to the next stitch, go to the next stitch and get into the top of that chain 3. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 3, I'm going to do a double crochet another double crochet, chain 1 and do 3 more double crochets into that space. 1, 2, 3. And so what I've effectively done there is I've made the shell again. That first chain 3 is acted as a double crochet, and then I've done the 2 more, so we've got 3 on that side, a chain 1 and 3 on that side, exactly as we were doing before. And when I slip stitched, all I do is you go into the stitch and you just pull the yarn through, you don't yarn over or anything. So now we want some space between, so we chain 1 and then we go into the next. This is where you'll really pull, sorry, my yarn's all, right, so when that's complete, we chain 1 and then we go into the top of the next shell. So if you look, there's your shell shape, into the middle in that space, and do our next set of 3, chain 1, 3. Okay. 3, chain 1 and 3 double crochet. Chain 1, we go straight over into that space, yarn, do you know what, can't seem to do anything right today, yarn over into that top space and 3 double crochet. Chain 1 and 3 double crochet. Chain 1 and move over into the centre of that space again. Okay, so yarn over and do your 3 double crochet. So I've chained 1, and now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to join with a slip stitch to the top of this chain 3 that we started with. Okay, and there's our holder. There's a straggler that can be sewn in. There's our holder starting to take shape now. It's starting to come up at the sides. Now, if you wanted to do this to go around, say, a small tin to make a little holder, you could do, an old tuna tin or something like that. You could possibly stop there. Or if you just wanted to decorate the bottom of a vase or a glass or something, or of a candle, a jar, if you just wanted to decorate the bottom, you could stop there, okay? But you can see that's going to fit quite nicely in there. So that's what I like about this pattern. I think because it's got the bottom in and because of the way it's made, it does fit most jars, and it's, you don't really have to adapt the size very much. I just need a drink. and like it'll fit round a standard jam jar. I'll get a standard jam jar in a minute, or a coffee jar. It'll fit, you know, around most things. And like I say, or around an empty tin if you wanted to use it. What they look really nice, because it's cotton, so it washes and it dries, is around tins, and then those tins used either indoors or outdoors for herbs and stuff. That looks really nice. So we're at the beginning of a round again. So what we do is we just slip stitch over into this chain space again. So we just chain one just to lock that down, and then we just stick our hook in the next stitch, pull it through. Sorry, stick our hook in that stitch, pull the yarn through, pull it through the loop on our hook. Next stitch, pull the yarn through, pull it through the loop on a hook, and then we're into the right position again with this chain space here. And then we do our chain 3, which would act as our first treble double crochet. Then we yarn over, pop it into the same chain space, and do another double crochet, another double crochet, chain 1, and another double crochet, another, and another. So we've got our 3 chain space 3. Okay, then we do a chain 1, and we go straight into the top of the shell, into that chain space. We yarn over, hook in, pull through some yarn, double crochet, treble in UK terms, double again, and a third, chain 1 and 3 more into the same space to create our shell. And that's it, and we just keep on doing that until we get high enough to cover our jar. Now this one has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 levels on it, so try for 6 or 7 and see how it fits. Okay, so I'm going to leave you to it here then, and I'll join you back when I've done, I think I'll do 7 rows. I've done 3, so another 4 to do, and then I'll join you back here. Okay, so now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows of the shells. So I'm just going to pull, before I finish off this round, I'm just going to pull that through. Such a lovely lacy design, this one. I'm just going to try it for size on my jar. I'm just going to put my hook back in, pull that through, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the top of that chain 3 and slip stitch to finish off as normal. And I'm going to chain 1, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain to make my hanger. Okay, I'm just going to pull out a bit. So I'm going to chain to make my holder, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain as many as I think I need. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Also think about if you've got a branch that you want to hang a load of them from in different colours, which would look really pretty. then you might want to make the straps different lengths so that you've got a variation in the drop on your candle, on your lantern. So I've done 40 there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to find the opposite side. So all I've done is just popped it together, and then I'm just going to go, the opposite side obviously is this chain space here. So I'm just going to go into that chain space. I'm going to grab my yarn, I'm going to pull it through, and then I'm going to do a, oops, so I've got my chain on my hook, yeah, so I've got my 40 chains. I'm going to go into that chain space, grab some yarn and pull it through, and grab some yarn and pull my yarn through the loop on the hook, and then you pop your jar in, and there you go. And yeah, it does, you might want to put another one on, but it does the trick. And you might want it to be obvious it's a jar, so you might want to see the rim of it. But that is so pretty when that's hanging out without the label on. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that, and you can adapt that. You can make it bigger for vases. Like I said, you can make it for smaller jars. You can make it for tins. That's that. If you need any, wants any questions about sizing and things like that, remember I used a 3.5mm hook, and I used a cotton DK recycled drops cotton, which I got from the Wool Warehouse, I think. So yeah, you might want to add an extra one on, but that's up to you. Okay, so take care, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye bye.